This is me, exhausted after 3 days on a train traveling from San Francisco to Chicago. And this is the story of that trip. It all began on a beautiful Sunday morning in California. We didn't know it at the time yet, but this trip was going to be a little bit longer than we were anticipating. The bad news didn't take long to arrive.
Head north, then turn right.
This is Amtrak calling about an upcoming trip for Adrian Otero Villa. There are changes to reservation number 259. We wanted to let you know that train number 6, the California Zephyr from Emeryville, California, on Sunday, June 19th, has been delayed due to lead operations. Please be advised train 6 of the June 19th is expected to depart only 2 hours late.
The initial 2-hour delay just kept getting longer and longer.
6 California Zephyr is now at 11:45. 11:40, number 6 will give them another 15 minutes.
But finally, and only 3.5 hours late, our train arrived at the station. There's always this phase at the beginning of a long trip, the honeymoon phase. A mostly empty train, we were just getting used to our very comfortable seats with plenty of space. We discovered the beautiful panoramic car and we had the first onboard coffees. Everything was just awesome. But eventually the magnitude of the trip started to sink in. After a few hours, feeling already a little bit tired, we realized that most of the trip was still ahead of us. More and more people boarded the train in every station, crowding the car, and the first freight trains made us stop several times while we waited for them to pass. It was going to be a long trip at a very slow pace. It was precisely the pace what made this trip special though. When someone gets on a train for a 3-day long trip, they do so with a very different mindset. Time doesn't matter as much, it's all about the experience, and a big part of that is the landscapes. They began to change as we left the valley and started to climb higher, riding through the mountains. Vineyards and farmland disappeared and the trees took over. We were entering the Tahoe National Forest. I'm going to link to a video of mine from Lake Tahoe on the top right corner. These were the parts of the ride that I was looking forward to. I usually drive through these kind of landscapes without many opportunities to glance at them. On the train though, I had plenty of time to take it all in.
Alright, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Truckee. Come on downstairs if you're going to Truckee.
It's very complicated.
Nevada was my first love years ago, the spark that inspired me to get on more road trips. There are very few places that make you feel as small as Nevada does. The vastness of the landscapes here is something that can take your breath away. And casinos are part of that landscape too, of course. Hours behind schedule, passengers started to get ready for what was going to be the first night aboard the train. After some rather unsuccessful attempts to do some work, I decided to get ready in the downstairs bathroom and try to get some sleep. I didn't get much that first night though. I woke up just a couple of hours later in Elko, Nevada. For some reason, we were stopped there for quite a while as a fire truck and an ambulance stood outside. In any case, we were about to enter Utah, and thanks to the freight trains with priority over us, I got to witness a beautiful sunrise at the Salt Flats. Not as good as the one I had there a few years back though. On the top right corner, a link to the video of my previous visit to this stunning place. The approach to Salt Lake City was absolutely beautiful, and it reminded me of my time around the Great Salt Lake. I made one of my favorite videos then, and of course it should be showing up now on the top right corner. Even though I barely got any sleep, the beautiful landscapes kept me awake. Well, that and plenty of coffee, but most importantly, having good company made this trip so much more enjoyable. In stark contrast to the dry, arid desert land to the west of Salt Lake, the lush and green landscapes of the Wasatch Mountains. Check out the video of my hike to the top of Mount Timpanogos, again linked on the top right corner and in the description down below. Breakfast time, the best time of the day. We brought a lot of food with us as we didn't know what to expect from the onboard snack bar. And good thing we did. It was refreshing to have some oats and blueberries just as we were reaching the first 24 hours aboard the train. The landscape was about to change again as we left the mountains behind. The green tones started to fade away as the browns took over. I feel like the desert is deeply misunderstood. Usually seen as a lifeless and empty land, it is here where I felt I was the most isolated from the human world, in a good way, free, something I like to experience every once in a while as a traveler. Of course, for those living here, this place can be much tougher. It can be an unforgivable place, almost hopeless. "26 hours in a train can make you feel very tired, especially when you know that that is just half of the trip. We kept waiting and waiting for freight trains, which erased any hopes we might have had of making up for the delay. Quite the contrary, as we were running almost 5 hours late by now. Just before leaving the state, Utah gifted us with a glimpse of its beautiful red rocks and landscapes. I have plenty of videos from this area, from national parks like Arches and Canyonlands, and many other spots like the town of Moab, all links in the description. We heard about a small shop in Grand Junction's train station. It was very hot and I was craving something fresh, so I really wanted to get some fruit, so I was hoping they had some. First time outside in 26 hours. The best watermelon I've ever had.
It's very good.
We didn't make up for any of the lost time, so sadly we were going to miss the Rocky Mountains. Still, this part of the ride along the Colorado River was one of the prettiest of the whole trip, so we headed to the panoramic car to have a good seat. By the way, I also have a video from the Rocky Mountain National Park. Of course, the link is on the top right corner or in the description down below. Denver, at the other side of the Rockies and the gateway to the east. After another mostly sleepless night, we woke up in Nebraska, land of colorful sunrises but also incredibly flat landscapes. This is where distance and time start to take a toll, as everywhere looks the same. This was also where the 5-hour delay grew into a 6-hour delay, and then 7 hours, and then 8 hours. We got out of the train a few times to stretch our legs, but it was hot, really, really hot.
Right? I'm so looking forward to that.
Eventually, more than 50 hours after leaving Emeryville, we crossed the mighty Mississippi River. We were almost there, almost. Just a few more hours. We arrived in Chicago after 56 hours on the train. We were 8 hours late and I was exhausted. But I'm very glad I did it. I already forgot the tiredness of that day, but this experience, that is something I will never forget.